Well, I was kind of patting my back on saving some money with that outboard, even though it wasn't exactly what I was wanting. I was glad I came in under budget, you know, because I said I was looking for something in the $500 range, and lo and behold, I got one for $300. Like I said, it's not any kind of powerhouse, but you know, it is rated for this size boat, 3 horsepower. And so I was feeling good about that. Well, I totally blew my budget out of the water with this trolling motor because I just couldn't find one. I got tired of looking. I found some really good deals on trolling motors, several of them for $150 for Minn Kota Edge, and what's the other one, the XS, the older one, I think. Anyways, for $150 on several of them, but every freaking one of them that was a long shaft on it. And I really want to keep this boat at a 36-inch shaft because it's just a 10-foot boat and it's not very deep sides. They would work, don't get me wrong, but the trolling motor, when it's like up, you know, undeployed, when it's all folded up in the boat, the shaft's going to be all over there by the floor of the boat. So what I end up doing is just looking around Amazon, Walmart, and eBay just to find the cheapest foot control trolling motor that I could, 45-pound thrust with a 36-inch shaft. And I ended up getting it from eBay. eBay had the cheapest one. I want to say it was like $390 something. I'll put it down here. And of course had to pay taxes on it. And I want to say it was like $407 after tax. So yeah, I kind of killed myself on that. But I want to let you guys know there are cheaper trolling motors out there. But if you're looking for something specific, you need to start looking now, you know, on Marketplace or Craigslist, wherever, because you might have a hard time trying to find something. You know, this is a small boat, so if this was like a 14-foot boat, I probably would have went with, one of them was a 42-inch shaft, but it was like an hour away from here, so you kind of got to figure in your gas money on stuff like that too. But anyways, that would have worked fine probably on a 14-foot boat, something a little bigger, but a 10-foot boat, yeah, I want to stay with a 36. So anyways, there it is. I'm going to unbox it. I'm going to have to build up some kind of frame for this trolling motor to sit on so it can clear the boat, because the front part of the deck, as you see here, we've got about 3 inches down. So we're going to have to build this up a little bit, but I need to make sure just exactly how much we need to build it up before I go off and order some metal. All right, let's get this thing out of the box. All right, as you can see, this 36-inch, when it's in the resting position, however you want to call it, I don't know, when it's not, when you're not trolling with it, fits really good up here. Like I was saying before, if I got this is 36, a 42 would bring it probably out to here somewhere. It's not that bad, but the other 2 trolling motors were 45, so it's going to be even further into this area, and I don't want that. But like I said, right now, if you try to deploy it, it's going to probably hit right here, because this whole thing kind of slides forward and then drops down. So what we need to do is build it up, and all I'm going to build it up on is this bottom metal plate, which is like 22 inches. And what I plan on doing is getting, I guess, some angle and just doing, I did this on the bow fishing build, I think, where you just put a piece of angle up and then you put another piece of angle next to it. So 2 pieces of angle, making like an S, and then I'll put a piece of probably a road sign on the middle of it to make like a little plateau, if you will, a little mountain foot for this thing. Anyways, but it's 22 inches, and it looks like I need to be 3 inches. It's about 3 inches tall right here. It's actually a little more, but I think 3 inches will clear it. It might be a pain in the butt. I might have to go with 2.5. I'm just gonna have to see what I can find. What sucks about it is probably ain't gonna be able to get anything that size from Lowe's, and I'm going to have to go to Online Metals, which their shipping's pretty fast. I'll be able to have it, like today is Thursday. I'll have it probably Tuesday of next week, but need to go ahead and get on that because we're kind of stuck until then. But I mean, I'm glad that it's going to fit up here pretty good. Well, all right, we'll pick it up whenever I get the aluminum in. All right, while we're waiting on that metal to build up that trolling motor, we can go ahead and do a few things. Now, I ordered this battery tray off eBay. That's for a Group 24 size battery, just a small battery. It had little tabs on it, like 4 on each corner kinda, where you could screw it down. And as you see, it kind of hangs over this little ledge I built. And plus back here is just foam. I didn't put any metal right there. So what I ended up doing is just cutting the tabs off so I could push it all the way in. And it came with this strap to hold down your battery. And I just put 3 stainless steel screws right here in this brace going down. And I got this battery. It's actually a cranking battery, so I need to go get one, a deep cycle, but this will work good for mocking everything up. Like I said, this strap just buckles, keep everything in place. I actually put one of them screws through this strap to keep everything nice and tight. All right, so that's pretty much cut and dry. Now we need to run that wire through this little rib on the outside of the boat behind these braces, through the seats, all the way into our compartment in there. That way we can wire our trolling motor up. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna try to use homemade fish tape using Romex. Just tie one end of the wire to something kind of stiff but has some flex to it. I'm gonna try to push it all the way through. Like I said, I got some Romex that I'm gonna try to use. Alright, so we got our wire ran through, and I usually use just them plastic wire looms that split, but I had this, I can't remember exactly what it was. It was like irrigation hose or something, some kind of rubber hose you can get at Lowe's. I just had it laying around as 1/2 inch, pretty thin, just rubber, and I split it and ended up using it. You can barely see it. Used it to save me a couple dollars, but you can get that wire loom from Amazon really cheap, like 25 foot for around $9. So anyways, I saved a little bit of money by just using that stuff. That's another option. If you don't want to use Amazon, go to Lowe's. It's in the garden center. You can find it. Just ask somebody. I think it's called an irrigation hose or landscape hose, something like that. Okay, so we got it ran. Now we need to connect to our battery. Of course, just connecting the ground is simple. Just I'm using these copper connectors, terminals, whatever they are. I got a whole case of them with a little box. I think I got these off Amazon, and I've had them for ever since I started building boats. As you see, I'm starting to dwindle down, but it was like, I don't know, probably $10 for that box. So well worth it if you're going to be doing a lot of wiring. Because you try to buy them individually, they might cost you $2 or $3. You can get a whole thing of them for like 10. I'll look it up and try to leave a link for them down below and put the actual price now. But like I said, negative just goes right here to the negative, and the positive, we're going to put this 50 amp circuit breaker in between. So what we'll do is cut this red wire somewhere in here, and then just put this circuit breaker right in between it, and using these again on that, and that'll be it. Also, I got heat shrink tubing to push over the little connectors. I got a whole box of those too from Amazon. These are different sizes. These are fairly cheap too. If you go to Lowe's and try to buy, you can just buy a roll of it, and it's just as much as getting that big box of them from Amazon. So if you're in a pinch, go to Lowe's and get it. If you got a few days to wait, Amazon, and get you some shrink tube, and just a added layer of protection against these connections. You know, water is your enemy with electricity, so I'm gonna try to keep it out as much as you can. All right, let's hook this stuff up. Alright, my metal came in, and instead of going with the angle, like I said, I ended up getting this channel And the reason being is if I did the angle, I was gonna have to get 4 pieces, but with this channel, I'll be able to just have 2. So that saved me a lot of money, even though this is, man, that crap is so thick. It looks thicker than 1/8 inch, but this is a little overkill. And I mean, really, I've kind of gotten away from the budget of this budget build, and I know that. Like I said, I'm trying to resell these boats. It's kind of hard to set aside I guess pride, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I get an idea of how I want things to look a certain way in my head, and it's hard for me to deviate from that. But that being said, if this was just my personal boat, you know, I wouldn't have as much problems cutting corners. If this was my personal boat, I would not spend, I think this crap was $50-something for these 2 pieces of aluminum shipped to my house. If it was my personal boat, I would put 2 pieces of 2x4 or 3, however wide I need to go, of just regular 2x4s, and use that as a riser for this trolling motor. So don't think that I would look down on somebody for using wood for something like this to save some money. Like I said, if it was my personal little boat that I was building and I wasn't going to try to sell, it's exactly what I would do. But I'm doing this because I just want it to be just a little bit nicer. And there's some corners that I really don't want to cut on these boats that I'm going to be reselling. All right, anyways, now that I've explained myself for spending too much money on metal, this is what I plan on doing, is setting them up just right here like this and drilling some holes in here, which it's going to be tight trying to get them where I need them to be. I might end up having to drill a hole up here and then just using like a long screwdriver to bolt them down, because I know up here I'm going to have to do riv nuts to attach it to the bottom, because this is a solid seat. Right here I'll be able to do a regular bolt because this is open up under here. I don't know, I'm going to mess around with it, figure out where exactly they need to be, and then I'm going to paint these black. And I might, since I got so much of this turf left, I might run, you know, on the sides, just kind of camouflage it a little bit. But I don't want to be able to see in here and have shiny aluminum. It'll look better if I go ahead and paint these insides black. So let's go ahead and mock this thing up exactly where it needs to be. So I'm going to take this front part off the trolling motor and really be able to tell where it needs to go. And then, like I said, cut these down, paint them black, and then we can mount them to the floor. Alright, while we're waiting on those pieces of aluminum to dry, keep everything clean. I went ahead and ordered these 2 connectors that go together. They're both C-Sense brand. I can't remember where I buy this crap from all the time. I'll put it down there. They were fairly inexpensive. I want to say I got them from Amazon. But, I mean, it's just, you know, this is going to go on the floor somewhere. I need to wait to put this on until I get this trolling motor mounted so I can really figure out where I want it. And this is going to go off of your trolling motor wires. That way you can plug it in when you want to use it and then unplug it when it's not in use. It just gives you a little bit cleaner look on your deck instead of having just wires, you know, a hole drilled to somewhere and then wires going straight through it. So what we're going to do now is go ahead and cut these factory little terminals off and connect these to it. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and y'all don't need to see it. Y'all know what I'm doing, and I'll just show you the after product of it. All right, so I got these 1/4 inch rib nuts installed. and that was cut and dry. Just put a bolt in, and to be able to get a screwdriver to it, I drilled out a 3/8 inch hole, just a little bit bigger. That way I can tighten that up. And then back here, I did the same thing just in case, because I didn't know exactly what I was going to use, but I ended up just using regular bolts on these because I was able to access it from this panel. And I went ahead and pre-drilled all my holes that align with the trolling motor. So hopefully I'll be able to put this other side in, lay the trolling motor up here, and get it cinched in. Alright, let's make sure it works. All right, to keep from lying to you guys, I did a boo-boo, as you can see. Where I originally drilled the holes for this thing was too far back, and it wasn't clearing right here. So I moved it up, probably a little bit more than I really had to. I tried to get it to where it was just barely showing them holes, but that gave me a little extra clearance than what I needed, which is fine. We can always put something right here to cover this anyways, and it'll cover up them holes. So just so you know, if you're doing some of this, make sure before you do a whole lot of stuff that your geometry is on. I didn't take geometry in school, but it's obviously telling now. All right, we need to make sure we can put this front cap on still. I think it just will slide on anyway, so that should be fine. And then all we have to do is add this female plug, and I think just right here would be a good spot, because you remember this seat is right here, so this is easy to get to. If we just put it right here, to kind of be out of the way, but it'll also be easy to install. So all right, let's knock those couple things out and we'll be done with it. I'm using a 1 1/4 inch hole saw bit for this. Alright, now all we gotta do is hook these wires up, the wires we ran back towards the battery, and should be straight. Alright, I got them connected. Not a whole lot of slack, but that's good. Now we'll go back here and hook up the cables to the battery and make sure we got power to the trolling motor. I guess we could go ahead and hook this foot up, huh? Make sure this works. Oh my God. Man, y'all look at this crap. Only this would happen to me. I ordered this crap off Amazon. I remember now, it came to me. I think I ordered one, and then it had one of them things like when you scroll down, it said, most users buy this with this, you know, as a little package deal. So that's what I did. And like an idiot. Alright, so we got a female here. Well, this is a freaking female too. That's what Amazon sent me. That's what they suggested. That's what I get for relying on freaking Amazon. And now I done took them out of the package and spliced them in and crap, so I can't freaking take them back. And now I'm about to find a male one, either one of these, hopefully locally, so I can get this thing done today. Yeah, good luck to me on that. Watch what you're doing. Don't be like me. That's what this channel is about. Learning from my mistakes. Finally. Cool. Well, a little project was a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be. Finally getting the right plug. That's all I had to do is put it on and plug it up and make sure it runs, and everything seems to be going fine. This might be like a more of a worst case scenario trolling motor installations, which we did have to build that little riser for it. And then I had the plug fiasco. And you don't even have to do the plugs if you don't want to or don't care. All you gotta do is put some butt connectors or even wire nut connectors if you want to get that savage about it, and just run to your battery. If anybody's wondering why I ran my battery to the back, it's because the battery was just too tall to put in my little hatch up here. Something I should have measured before, but the only other way I could really get around that is if I built the deck up higher than the seats. So that would have been a lot of trouble, a lot more money to do it that way. And plus now I have that whole hatch that's, you know, for storage now. And I mean, weight in the back isn't going to be a killer because I've added weight to the front. So it kind of offsets each other. All right, that's it. You know, I hate that this really got away from the budget. I spent a lot of money on this video. This has been the most expensive video so far, mainly because I spent too much on the trolling motor. But I do have a brand new trolling motor, and it's clean, and it looks good, and it's the right size for this boat. And I don't have to worry about any kind of bugs with it. You know, I didn't have to do those pieces of aluminum for the riser of the trolling motor either. That was expensive. You know, that was another $50. But like I said, you don't have to do that. You can get a 2 or 3 scrap 2x4s and just, you know, paint them real good with a wool-based paint, or put some epoxy resin on it or something like that. Fiberglass resin would work good. So I mean, that would be a very cheaper route to go than spending $54 on some metal. The battery was expensive. I think it was like $80. You know, it was just one of the cheaper Walmart batteries, but you know, that's more expense. You know, the wires going back to the battery was an expense. The plugs, you know, like I said, that's not necessary, but it is another expense. So I'll add it all up down here, and I know it's going to be over $1,500, which is where I was wanting to be. So I mean, if I had gotten one of them used trolling motors and just made it work, you know, we would have been way under budget. I still have a few things that I'm going to add to the boat, but I mean, they're not big deals. There's a lot of nickel and dime stuff, and we're going to add them before we take it out. That's going to be the next video, getting this thing on the water. I really appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you on the next one.